Ladies and gentlemen, now this is one weird ass story. This is the New York Times. A man demanded his final paycheck. The auto shop delivered 91,500 greasy pennies as his final paycheck, and they dumped it in front of his house, as you can see it on the ground in the picture. Okay. Uh, and Oklahoma Walker Luxury Auto Works in Peachtree City, Georgia, has built Ford Mustangs for Clint Eastwood films, Trouble with the Curve, and for an attempt at a world record for land speed, according to its website. Now, the high end auto repair shop has acquired another rare distinction. It has been accused of paying a former employee in pennies. And you want to know why things are going so bad for America? Look at the mentality of the people that are bosses on these jobs and do stuff like this. I have heard all kinds of things. If you quit, some people got to fight to get their final paycheck. They don't want to give you your final paycheck at all kinds of issues I've heard over the years. This one takes the cake. To be precise, that's 91,500 pennies, adding up to $915 in wages owed. Although Andreas Flatten, who was a manager, so he was a manager there until November, and has not counted them to make sure he got every last cent. Okay, he said these are really dirty, oily pennies. Okay. He said his former employee had left him a glimmering mound of pennies at the end of his driveway on March 12th to punish him for quitting and persistently demanding his final paycheck. Well, he's entitled to that final paycheck. He's entitled to that. You know, this is what happens when you got the most rottenest people in history running things. These are the kind of unnecessary things you should have to deal with. They should have just cut him a check and send the check to his home and stop all this dramatic theatrical crap that nobody needs. Who needs this? You know, so the Department of Labor was technically saying, they really should not have done this, but it wasn't illegal. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. Since his girlfriend posted the video of the pennies on Instagram on March 13th, he has been attracting the sympathies of thousands of people, also navigating strained relationships with their employers amid the pandemic. It would be one thing if it was just pennies, Mr. Flatten said. I wish it was just pennies, but the pennies are covered with a pungent, sticky substance. Mr. Flatten suspected it might have been power steering fluid that they poured all over these pennies. Mm-mm-mm. Miles Walker, the owner of the repair shop, did not respond to a quest for comment. He told CBS 46 that he didn't remember whether he dropped the pennies on his former employee's driveway. It doesn't matter. He got paid. That's all that mattered. What a dirty scumbag. Mr. Flatten said the foundation of his workplace dispute had to do with his employer's lack of sensitivity to his need to pick up his child from daycare at a certain time. Mr. Walker, the owner, recruited him, he said, and he accepted the job because they had an agreement that he could leave at 5 p.m. This always happens. Oh boy. Sorry about that, y'all. I am not running across the room to get the phone. So the arrangement became even more important during the pandemic when the child care facility began closing early. Yeah, that would be a problem if the child care facility is closing early. What are you supposed to do? That's not really your fault, and it's not the child's fault. I mean, things like that are happening during COVID. So that's where everything took a turn for the worse between him and his boss, because when the daycare hours changed, he had to leave earlier than 5 o'clock to pick up his child. So that's where the friction began. Um, so when he noticed how bad it was getting, Mr. Flatten gave notice late last year that he was planning to quit and then to walk off the job even earlier than planned. Months later, when his final week's wages still had not arrived, Mr. Flatten filed a claim with the U.S. Department of Labor, which is what you're supposed to do if you don't get your final paycheck. The agency confirmed that it had contacted the repair shop 3 times. Around 7 p.m. on March 12th, a video recorded by Mr. Flatten's doorbell camera shows a young man with long, wavy hair on his front porch yelling, "Hey, your money is at the end of the driveway, bud," says the guy, who Flatten said he believed was a current employee of the repair shop. About an hour later, when Mr. Flatten tried he went down the driveway and found it was blocked by a mountain of pennies. Okay, and he said he could smell a foul odor from the coins, and an envelope that you could see in the middle of this heap of pennies that said inside he found a paycheck stub, but no check. So there was a paycheck stub inside of that envelope. It's stuck in the middle of the pennies. Mr. Flatten and his girlfriend, Olivia Oxley, spent the next few hours transporting around 500 pounds of pennies up the slope of his driveway into the garage with a wheelbarrow. The weight of the pennies have since caused the wheelbarrow to collapse. His girlfriend posted about the discovery on Instagram, where it was captured. It has captured the imagination of many. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. You know, he had a dirty old employee like many people do in America. That's why during the lockdown, there were many people online saying they didn't miss their jobs because they deal with nasty people like this guy. Or you deal with some Karen on the job. You know, people get sick of that. They want to just work and go home and be left alone. But that's one thing that America just can't seem to grip, that you just want to do your job and go home. But they got to add in all the extra unnecessary drama on jobs every day that people get sick of. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. This is definitely crazy. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.